depth helped here today because they get the return of Lodemeyer Lahtinen. She did not play in the last game against Purdue. She suffered a knee injury against Hofstra, left after scoring 15 points in 12 minutes in that game, but she is starting here today. We'll have to see if she's limited at all. Her first full practice, according to her head coach, Nell Fortner, was yesterday, and she is a key piece for this Georgia Tech team, obviously leading the team in assists, the number 2 scorer on the team, the point guard, preseason All-ACC selection. We are ready to go at Stegman. Stady and Kubai, of course, to jump center, and the opening tap is controlled by Georgia Tech. And we are underway in the 44th meeting all-time between the Yellow Jackets and the Bulldogs. And right away, looking on the inside, is Georgia Tech. After the scramble, still Yellow Jacket possession.
Well, it's going to be really interesting. One of the big things that Coach Joni Taylor talked about for Georgia is they have to slow down and force Georgia Tech out, keep them outside of the paint. So Kubai, first shot of the game, not able to go, and Georgia Bulldogs with the ball.
Off to Michaela Coombs in the starting 5 for Georgia, along with Sarah Ashley Barker, Stady, Jordan Isaacs, making her 36th straight start for Georgia, and Q Morrison, number 2 scorer, and tie for the team lead in assists.
You know, it's interesting when you look at that lineup. How often have we seen that lineup in particular, those players being out there and being comfortable playing with one another? I think that has been the strength of this Bulldog team.
Early turnover for Georgia, and Georgia Tech will walk it up as you take a look at their starting 5. Nerea Hermosa is leading the team in scoring at 11.5 points a game, number 2 in rebounding. And we mentioned the return of Lahtinen after leaving the Hofstra game with an injury, did not play against Purdue. That was a heartbreaking result for the Yellow Jackets last time out. They fell at the buzzer on Wednesday, 53-52 the final. Strautmane drops it off, another outside shot for Kubai. That won't drop, but on the glass, Georgia Tech gets a second chance, and Love has an opening, but can't finish, gets a second chance. This time it drops for Elia Love.
You know, and I think that's the one thing when you know you're going into the paint, you got to be focused, and you're looking around for Jenna Stady. She's able to get a little bit of made Love think about the basket the first time, but she got a rebound.
Barker tries it from outside. That won't drop, and a rebound for Kubai. Lahtinen in transition. Strautmane, a very good shooter, but not this time. Well, Georgia Tech's getting after it on the offensive end, on the glass. Love with a putback. She's got a quick 4.
Well, that's one of the keys. Georgia was talking about they need to run the floor, but one of the things they said defensively, they got to keep Georgia Tech off the basket. And of course, you see Q Morrison with her first bucket for the Bulldog team. That is a player we're going to have to watch tonight. We did not talk about her in the open. However, her energy, she is the key. She is the heart to how this Bulldog team plays.
Coming off a game-high 20 points in the last game for Georgia. That was a win in Lubbock against Texas Tech. Another offensive rebound for Georgia Tech. They are a plus 14 in rebounding margin through 7 games this season. Nell Fortner said, we're a really good rebounding team. We're a very good defensive team. They do struggle on the offensive end, so that defense and rebounding keeps them in games.
Well, you got to focus on having at least 2 people box out Lorella Kubai. And when you focus on that, somebody else is wide open, and the Bulldogs, yet another turnover. Not necessarily in the flow of their offense yet.
Yeah, Q Morrison just kicked it away. A couple of early turnovers for Georgia. Lahtinen tried to work it inside. It was kicked, so they'll put 20 on the shot clock here for the Yellow Jackets. There you see Joni Taylor in her 7th year, the SEC Coach of the Year last year. There's Love, wide open path to the basket for Love. She has all 6 Tech points, had 12 against Purdue last time out.
Well, it's interesting when you think about Georgia and what they're known for. Joni Taylor's system is focused on defense, and Georgia has not been able to find that rhythm.
Well, Georgia looking for some rhythm off the bench. As we mentioned, this is a deep team. We'll go into detail on that catch coming up in a little bit, but Reagan Richardson comes into the game early, the freshman from Charlotte. Not shy at all. Gets a touch, takes a shot, knocks it down.
Well, we did hear from Coach Taylor that the freshmen have a voice on this team, and they are not shy about it. So being able to come in and right off the bat get a shot in.
That's 6 offensive rebounds now for Georgia Tech, and they turn it into second chance points to go on top by 5. What a quarter for Ilya Love.
Well, I know Georgia Tech, they're looking for somebody that can consistently score. They're limited on bodies, but one thing that they know is they have players on the court right now that can score.
Lottinen tried to get it into Kubai, but got in a little deep, and Kubai couldn't handle it. On the previous trip for Georgia, Stady just dropped it and turned it over. So right now, Georgia Tech's winning the battle on the boards, especially on the offensive end, and Georgia's just struggling to take care of the basketball.
Well, Georgia with 3 turnovers thus far compared to Georgia Tech 1. But I think the biggest thing you'll start to see is Joni Taylor will go to her bench and get other players in the game.
Good job by Hermosa. Forced Stady to take an awkward shot that was well off the mark. Straumanet looks for Kubai. Now this is the area of the game that Kubai trying to work on, that offensive, those post moves. Georgia Tech just keeps working on the glass. They got another offensive rebound. That was number 7, but Kubai couldn't hold on to it. It'll be Bulldogs basketball.
You know, one of the things you love when you see Kubai is how she hustles. You saw her on one side of the floor. She took the basket. She's on the floor. She gets up. Her teammates shoot. She's the one going after the rebound. I mean, that is the relentlessness she has when she's going after the rebounds. Richardson
with the turnaround off the mark, and Kubai will put it on the floor for Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, thanks to those offensive rebounds, they've attempted 14 field goals. Georgia, Tamika, has attempted 5 so far here in the first 5.5 minutes.
Well, you got 10 rebounds as a team, Georgia Tech does, and they continue to find the right players at the right time as Kubai finally connects on her basket.
That's a beautiful little move there. The turnaround in the paint to put Georgia Tech on top by 7. Kubai averaging 9 points a game, 12 rebounds a game. Feed inside to Stady, and that's going to be another turnover for Georgia, their 4th of the first quarter. So in this rivalry game, a very slow start for Georgia, but what the Bulldogs have going for them is they've got options off the bench. We may see some of those options, and we'll talk about those options when we come back.
Why there's survival odds. And the reason why there's survival odds is because someone beat it. We need your help.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
So don't give up on me.
Back in Athens, Georgia Tech on top of Georgia by 7. The Bulldogs ranked 20th in the country, had a great season last season, as we mentioned just a few moments ago, and Joni Taylor's theme was to pick up where they left off. The reason they can think that way, Tamika, is they've got so many pieces back from last year, and they have some key additions that have really helped this bench. You've been impressed by the depth for Georgia and how strong they've been. 1 through 11, really, we've seen in most games throughout this season.
Yeah, Eric, and you know, one of the biggest things is you look at the post play. They got 5 players that can come on. You see the numbers right there. 10 players averaging 3+ points per game. But I think the biggest thing you got to appreciate outscoring opponent by 18 points per game. And so you're relying on that as a coach. You can keep, you kind of have the hamster wheel going. You're subbing people in, subbing people out. Defensively, you can be more aggressive, and it leads to offensive points.
In a game like this, Catch, when you're obviously struggling, they're getting beat on the boards, especially on the offensive glass. They've had trouble with the basketball. How can that bench help give a spark to the team and kind of maybe a wake-up call to the starting 5 who came out a little flat here against their rivals from Georgia Tech?
Well, you already saw Reagan Richardson comes in. She knocked down a basket right off the way, and I think right off the bat, I think the biggest thing is being aggressive. When you come in, you got to figure out what is the person that's in front of you, what are they not doing? They're not rebounding. They're not boxing out. They're, not being able to take care of the ball. So I think that's the most important thing. Take care of the ball and be aggressive.
You were saying take care of the ball? You have to say it louder, I think, because Morrison lost the handle, and the tie-up possession arrow will stay with Georgia. You saw substitution for Georgia as Javon Nicholson, the junior from Lawrenceville, Georgia, who's been good for Georgia throughout her career. She's come into the game. She got a defensive rebound early.
Well, it's going to be really important. Georgia's got to figure out how to find the flow, but Georgia Tech just doing a great job. Obviously, you see the foul right there, but I think Georgia Tech has done a great job of just being aggressive.
So Strutman gets the personal foul as Richardson. She has not been shy so far. Fouled attempting the jumper. The freshman from Charlotte will go to the line to shoot a couple. Played just 2 minutes against Texas Tech. Did not score in that win for Georgia. It was a slow start in that game too, Tamika, for Georgia. They fell behind 9-0 at the start of the game, but then they outscored the Red Raiders in each of the next 3 quarters. Ended up winning 66-56. And Joni Taylor said, we really wore them down. And that's part of the mindset. It's a full 40-minute game that you got to be prepared to work against this Georgia team that is a strong defensive unit.
Well, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And I think that's a testament to how Georgia plays and how they play together as they force a turnover.
Yeah,
that's what we saw in the Texas Tech game.
Nicholson with the steal, so a rebound and a steal for her early, and now she'll throw it away, trying the post entry to Stady. That's turnover number 5 for the Bulldogs here in the first quarter.
Well, I think you're losing control. There have been a couple possessions where the ball had, Georgia really focused on getting the ball to Stady, but they're not leading her. They're overthrowing the ball, and that's not the type of player Stady is. You've got to put it in the pocket for her.
Lottinen with the drive off the glass for 2 first points for the senior from Helsinki, a 3-year starter for Georgia Tech. And the Yellow Jackets are on top by 8. 11 possessions, 5 turnovers for Georgia so far. They come up empty there as it's picked up by Lottinen. And Georgia Tech wants to run off the miss. There's Stady with the block. Hermosa stuck with it. Shot clock now at 13. Loves had the hot end early, but she stepped out of bounds. Turnover number 3 for Georgia Tech.
And Georgia Tech doing a great job of finding the open player and forcing Georgia to have to move from side to side.
And you see Nell Fortner in her 3rd season now. Time has flown by. 3rd season already for Nell at Georgia Tech. 42 wins already in Atlanta. 17-9 last year. They went 12-4 in the ACC, made their first trip to the NCAA tournament since 2014, made it to the Sweet 16. Nicholson got a hand on it, but it's picked up by Kubai.
You know, one of the things I appreciate, I mean, Nell was my coach way back when, but one of the things I appreciated, even her positivity, looking at the numbers, looking at the depth or lack thereof depth for Georgia Tech. She's so positive in her approach to how she coaches the team, her staff, the players. You know, that's the thing that you have to appreciate.
Catch, if Nell Fortner and or you lose their positivity, we are in trouble as a society. we may be in trouble anyways, but if you or Nell lose your positivity, and you know, it has been a struggle because this isn't the lineup that Nell Fortner was fully expecting. Kira Fletcher was going to be a key piece. She suffered an injury, 5th-year guard out for the season, started the last 4 seasons. Loyal McQueen was in the rotation, a starter the first 3 games. And then she entered the transfer portal. So there's a couple of rotational pieces, starters, who aren't on this Georgia Tech team this season.
Well, and then you have Lottinen, who is out the last game. So that's yet another lineup change that you have to focus on. So there's been a lot of change. You know, even Coach DeMoss on the bench, you know, there's just been a lot of changes that they've had to go through, but yet they continue to thrive.
Kayla Coombs with the take for Georgia to bring Bulldogs within 6. And a mistake there as Love, who got off to a good start offensively, throws it away, looking inside for Hermosa.
This is what you love to see. Aggressiveness, attack the basket in the transition game. Coombs, great heads up. Just attack the basket. Got to get there. Turning over the ball. They're trying to force the half-court offense, and they're trying to force passes down low on both sides. You saw the turnover to Kabai. We've seen plenty of turnovers to Jenna Stady. Figure out another thing that you can get flowing and get get some basket heading towards the basket.
Coombs will attack again, looking for some help on the glass, and a foul is called on Nicholson, trying to clean out Lottinen.
Well, you see a totally different lineup than the starting group, so Coach Taylor's gone to her bench.
And like you just talked about, they've got those pieces that can come in. Right now you got Chloe Chapman guarding Lottinen, so she'll speed things up. Mallory Bates in her fourth season with Georgia comes in. Shot clock now down to 7. Lottinen, the help comes from Georgia. They get the block and plenty of time here for Richardson. Richardson has not been shy. The freshman knocks it down to close out the first quarter. That first quarter ended a whole lot better than it began for the Bulldogs in Athens. Well, she's played 9 already, and there's only been 1 sub so far for Georgia Tech, and that's Sarah Bates, who is into the game right now for Georgia Tech. Love with a very good first quarter for Georgia Tech. She had 9 of the Georgia Tech points. She was 4 of 6 from the field. The rest of the Georgia Tech team, 2 of 14 from the field in the first quarter. Good defense again. We've seen the defense get dialed up a little bit. That's Chloe Chapman standing her ground defensively. 7 to shoot for the Yellow Jackets.
That's what Georgia does so well defensively. They have kind of like a scramble mentality, but they're so quick with their feet. We've watched Chloe Chapman for years. Former soccer player, Kubai gets another basket, but Chloe Chapman, I mean, just being able to move her feet.
So Georgia Tech gets something out of the baseline out of bounds play to go on top by 6. First minute, second quarter. Chapman has it knocked away by Love, who then gets called for the foul, trying to fight for the loose ball with Richardson.
And one of the things that Georgia Tech cannot afford is foul trouble, being with limited number of bodies on the bench. Glad that Lottinen was able to come back for this game, but they have a lot of players out, which has forced them. They cannot afford to get into foul trouble.
Bates on the turnarounds, gets it to drop. Mallory Bates averaging 5 points a game. Brings Georgia within 4, and now a turnover. Chapman picks it up. Here come the Lady Bulldogs. Coombs been working on that jumper, just won't drop for her, but there's Nicholson on the offensive glass. That's the first offensive rebound for Georgia, but Georgia Tech comes away.
And I love Nicholson down there, down low, trying to get a second opportunity.
Love's had the hot hand, not this time, and another rebound for Javin Nicholson. That's her 5th off the bench already.
And when you start looking at lineups, you look at this Georgia lineup that's on the bench already, it's quicker, it's flowing. You see the players, you can tell they're comfortable playing with each other. The spacing is there, being able to pull the post up low. You know, hence Bates being able to get that wide open layup. There's a lot, this lineup is different than the lineup that we saw that started this game.
Well, you can see at the top of your screen, it's going to be 4 new Bulldogs coming in, but this group has kind of turned things around here for Georgia a little bit, bringing them within 2. Hermosa can't hit. Richardson was going to take off up the court, but no one rebounded, so it's another opportunity here for the Yellow Jackets. Lottinen, slow start from the field so far, 1 for 6. Love, that misses everything. Grabbed by Chapman.
Well, I mean, this kind of goes to what we talked about already in the first quarter. Georgia wears people down. And first quarter, you saw the energy, Georgia Tech going. You kind of put all your energy into getting the lead, but now it's going to be even more important to sustain that.
Nicholson can't get it to go. Only one of the original starting 5 on the floor right now for Georgia. That's Michaela Coombs. See Kubai running point guard position now. Well, it's international players. You know, it doesn't matter.
Is that what it is?
Everyone is a point guard in international basketball. It doesn't matter how big you are. Kubai can't get it. Had a pretty extended run here without a whistle, and you see a bunch of reserves coming in and realizing that. Looks like a foul is called on Georgia Tech. Kubai gets called for the foul well away from the ball. So get your scorecards out so we can keep track of everybody coming in. The new face is Jillian Hollingshed, the freshman, number 53. Another big comes in, and that's where Georgia really can come at you. They've got so many bigs that they can roll at you throughout the game.
Well, it's not just the big, it's how they play. I mean, they're all so different. Of course, you got Jenna Stady, who has consistently been the rock for this Georgia Bulldog team down low, and has, the last couple of years have really elevated her game. But then you add in your freshman, Hollingshed, and we know what she's capable of doing. I think Coach Taylor talked a little bit about how aggressive she can be. You know, she's kind of wild right now, but she's a player that's still developing. And as long as she stays in the system, will develop. She had Jenna Stady, who she's on the floor with right now. In practice, you're going against Nicholson, you're going against Bate. You have the opportunity to continue to develop as a post player, a strong post player in the SEC.
When it comes to SEC men's basketball, set your calendar for Tuesday. A couple of good matchups. Kentucky, ranked 9th, takes on Southern at 7 Eastern. And then 10th ranked Arkansas hosting Charlotte. A couple of the SEC's top teams highlight the night here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app, one tap. That last foul was on Stratmanek. That's her second personal foul, so that's a key thing to keep track of here for this Georgia Tech team. Lacking the depth, especially when it's compared to what Georgia has. Elisabetta Bulana into the game, and it's a turnover on Georgia Tech, so it'll be Bulldog basketball, chance to go in front. Stady draws a crowd. Hollingshed, no. Grabbed by Hermosa.
It's a solid defensive possession by Georgia Tech, and Georgia, that's a good look. I mean, that's what you want. You want the ball down low.
Hermosa from the outside. And a foul called on Georgia Tech. Sarah Bates gets whistled for the foul.
I'd like to go back and see what that play was, but might have been just on the screen. Comes up, yep, trying to set a screen for against Sarah Barker. Sarah Ashley Barker.
Hugh Morrison drops it in from outside, and Georgia has their first lead of the afternoon.
Well, if there's going to be a player that's going to be ready to take that shot, it's going to be Hugh Morrison, and really just love how she continues to find the pockets of when she needs to score, when she needs to pass, when she needs to drive, and really developing that mental aspect of the game.
Bates, good three-point shooter who's been struggling with her shot. Nothing wrong with that release. Knocks it down for three, and Georgia Tech's back in front. Bates was 1 for 9 from outside the three-point line in the loss to Purdue last time out, so that's a good sign for her to knock it down early.
Well, one of the things for Bates, she had to play the point guard position with Lautner not, and that's not her natural position, so having her run the play, also look for a shot, wasn't a good position for her, but I think now being able to get comfortable with getting those shots off, which you got to get back to.
Bulana, no. Chapman couldn't hang on to it, and Love tried to save it, could not. It'll be Georgia basketball when we come back. Close one in the early going. It was a slow start for Georgia, but they have bounced back, and they've got some veterans who can get you going, like Hugh Morrison from the outside. And then off the bench, Mallory Bates. And also on the other side, Sarah Bates for Georgia Tech.
What's up, y'all? Close game over in Athens. Coming up at half, me and the SEC Football Final Boys will talk about the college football playoff. Georgia is in, coming in at number 3. Surprised with that, guys?
Not at all. I think it was the 4 we expected. Yeah, definitely. I mean, even after yesterday, they had to be in it. I think it's the 4 we like, and Cincinnati's in there.
This guy.
We're going to talk about that. Cincinnati.
The script was obvious yesterday how this is going to unfold.
Eric and Tamika, we'll catch you in a little bit.
All right, Peter, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. So the Georgia Bulldog football fans know what's happening as they get slotted in that number 3 position. They'll take on the Maize in blue, and Bama takes on Cincinnati. Of course, we always can find a tie-in. We're talking about football. They're talking about football in the studio. We'd be talking about football all day. Well, Mary Beth Smart, the former Mary Beth Lysette, could fill it up for Georgia. She now happens to be the better half of the Kirby Smart, Mary Beth Smart relationship. Kirby's wife. I think she has some opinions on what her husband should do, the quarterback position, or what Georgia's going to do to rebound after the Alabama game, or do they just keep that talk separate?
Well, it's interesting watching the game a little bit last night, and you got to be ready. Every game matters, right? Especially when you get to the playoffs. And, number 1 versus number 3, it doesn't matter. This is the game that you got to bring everything to. So it'll be, I know that she will have an opinion. I don't know how much he'll listen to her, but don't we all have opinions?
Yes, we do, especially when it comes to college football. So a turnover for Georgia, 3-second call on Stady out of the timeout. Stady's been out of rhythm so far. She only has 1 rebound. She's 0 for 3 from the field and has made just 1 free throw.
One thing we know about Jenna Stady is that she always comes ready and love taking it to the basket, no fear, the layup.
Well, she's had back-to-back good games now for this Georgia Tech team. She's been pretty good all season long here in the early going, averaging 10 points a game. She already has 11 points here in the first half, went for 12 against Purdue. Her career and season high is 15.
Well, we asked about that yesterday. We asked Coach Fortner just who else has to step up? You got players going down, you got different lineups. You're going against a great Georgia Bulldog team who's got to step up to help you. And definitely not knowing the situation on whether or not Lottman would be able to get in the game, but Georgia's ready today. You can tell coming off that Purdue game, no, still wasn't over.
Georgia Tech is ready today, yeah.
Yeah, Georgia Tech is ready, sorry. No, Fortner still not over the loss against Purdue.
Well, I can't blame her as Hollingshed gets her first points, so some more bench points for Georgia. Georgia Tech had a chance. They were 0 for 4 in the final minute from the free throw line with a chance to perhaps put Purdue away, but the door was open for Purdue to take a shot at the buzzer that went down.
Well, free throws. We've watched a lot of college games. I know I've been watching a lot of college games, and free throws.
Kubai has to launch with 3 on the shot clock. Three-pointers. Kubai was 0 for 1 this season from outside the three-point line, and she buries a 3. So Georgia Tech, after Georgia had come back, taking its first lead, they've pushed back here to go on top by 5 as we approach 2 minutes to go in the first half.
Yeah, she's shooting 50% from the three-point line today.
Q Morrison answers with a three-pointer of her own. She's got 7, and it's a 2-point game, under 2 to go.
You got to see, there's definitely a testament when you're one of your best players, Jenna Stady, has not scored yet, but she has 1 point right now.
Oh, beautiful
down
feed.
by 2.
Morrison, though, had a lot of speed going to the basket, couldn't finish. And then it's going to be a traveling violation for Georgia Tech's Lottman.
When the post players step out, Kubai, 3 seconds left to go, and she launches it, shooting 50% for the game. 1 for 2 from the three-point line.
Those 6, she's from Italy, those 6'4" international posts, they think they're point guards, and if they're not point guards, they're 2 guards. They can shoot and pass, just ask them, right? Tamika, you played against your share of, and with your share of international players. Oh, blow by Chapman for 2.
And I love the setup, Chloe Chapman. You can see her just kind of rev up and get to the basket. But let's go back to that remark. the game is expanding. You're 4 or 5 players now, and when you look at Kubai now being able to dribble the ball, get the ball after the basket, and brings it full court. That's kind of becoming an expectation for your post players.
Final minute of the first half. And Richardson's got a rebound. Tied at 23. And then it's dribbled off of Bates. And a turnover for Georgia. That's 9 here in the first half for Joni Taylor's team.
They got 9, and Georgia Tech is right behind. They both have 9 turnovers right where we stand. And when you look at this game, tied, locked down, 23-23. I hope that this game is not full of more turnovers, though.
You don't want me to talk about the current trends then, right? Because we combined for 18, but it comes down to who's going to clean it up first a little bit. That's lost out of bounds, and Georgia Tech's into double digits now with 10 turnovers.
Sometimes it's just a matter of playing so fast, and some of the passes that are made, you think a player is paying attention, but make the smart pass. Even if Hermosa caught the ball down low.
Sorry, Catch. Aisha Won-Adonas going to come on for the final few seconds here of the first half. Junior post from Spain who transferred in from Ohio State. $15 to go in the quarter. Chapman into the hands of Q Morrison. Morrison ran into trouble. Kubai came over defensively, but gets called for the foul.
Well, it's a great read for a great setup. I mean, you cleared the whole right side for Morrison to be able to get that drive. Kubai comes over, and you got to get the ball out of the air.
So Kubai with 2 personal fouls. Strautman on the bench for a good chunk of this quarter with 2 personal fouls. Kubai has to come out of the game. Kubai with 7 points and 8 rebounds.
Just give you a little bit of a replay off that great drive by Q Morrison, and Kubai does lean forward, so able to get that. Q Morrison knocks it down.
Q Morrison at the free throw line, 84%, makes them both. Some pressure in the backcourt to try to slow Georgia Tech down. Final shot at the buzzer is off the mark, and it'll be a Georgia lead at halftime. Lady Bulldogs are down 4 after 1 quarter. They come back to lead it 25-23 at halftime. Plenty of college football talk at halftime. Peter Burns and the crew. And we talked about the battle of the post, the battle of the bigs. So far, advantage Lorella Kubai. Jenna Stady struggled in the first half. The leading scorer and rebounder for Georgia this season held to just 1 free throw. And meanwhile, a milestone for Lorella Kubai. That final rebound of the first half of the Q Morrison miss gave her 1,000 for her career. She is the 2nd member of the 1,000 club at Georgia Tech, joining Bonnie Tate, who holds the Georgia Tech career rebounding record with 1,039. So that record is in jeopardy, especially when Kubai had 20 rebounds last game, and in the first half she had 8. So she is piling them up quickly for Georgia Tech.
Well, you can tell she's on a mission this season, and your 20 rebound game, you continue to see just how relentless she is in getting to the basket and getting those boards.
Well, it's got to feel good for Hermosa, who struggled in the first half. She was 0 for 4 from the field, did not score, and that ties the game at 25. You saw Georgia try to get Stady involved on the first possession, but when you need a bucket, who do you go to? Q Morrison delivers again. She's in the double figures now with 12.
Q Morrison has so much confidence in the way that she's shooting this game.
High, low, and a little too high for Kubai to catch down low, and a turnover for Georgia Tech.
It's a great look for Kubai. Hermosa seeing that wide open. Kubai does a great job with her body, just overthrows it. We saw a lot of that in the first half, more so on the Georgia side, trying to get the ball to Jenna Stady.
And Georgia Tech now does have more turnovers in Georgia. 11-9. Sarah Ashley Barker comes up short. And a second chance here off the rebound by Isaacs.
I look to see more of that, more offensive rebounding from the Georgia Bulldog team. That's something that they have got to do a better job.
Michaela Coombs driving the lane for 2 more. She's got 4. And then a turnover is called on Georgia Tech. And they'll turn it right back over. Traveling violation on Lottinen.
You can see Coombs does a great job attacking the basket. And then, of course, Georgia probably pressed up and forced another turnover.
Q Morrison on the drive, 2 more for Q, and now she is 1 point shy of a milestone.
Must be milestone Sunday.
Oh, good feed inside, but Love can't finish it. Actually, correction, 2 points shy of 1,000 in her career. Here's Coombs. Getting a hand on it was Isaacs.
I tell you what, whatever Coach Taylor said in the huddle, you see a much different start to the second half than we saw in the first half starting the game. You see more energy, you see more drive. The trying to get Jenna Steady the ball in the beginning of the second half. I mean, you see the energy and the flow of this game.
Sarah Ashley Barker knocks down a 3, and Georgia is clicking now. Sophomore didn't feel great in practice, according to Joni Taylor yesterday. Had to leave early, and maybe she was trying to find her game in the early going, but it is all Georgia right now. A 9-2 burst to start the third quarter. Georgia Tech takes an early timeout in Athens. Well, it wasn't the result everybody was looking for in Atlanta last night for the football team against Alabama, but as we heard at halftime, Georgia is, of course, in the college football playoff. They'll play in the Orange Bowl against Michigan. And the Georgia Lady Bulldogs, the 20th ranked team in the women's AP Top 25 poll, has people smiling at Segment Coliseum because they have gone on a 16-2 run from the end of the second quarter to the beginning of the third quarter, Tamika Catchings.
Well, and it's been a lot of Q Morrison and trying to get this team going, but you see right there, Michaela Coombs as her Q again. Sarah Ashley Barker, I mean, you see the players stepping up. The energy is different this time around, and the players are moving the ball. They're not trying to focus as much as getting Jenna Steady down low, and I think that's really been, you got to start sometimes from the outside in, and that's what they're doing a great job of.
So that 7-0 run to close the half gave Georgia a 25-23 lead. Remember, they fell behind early. It was a very sloppy start for the 20th ranked Bulldogs. They fell behind Georgia Tech by 8 in the first quarter, but they've cleaned things up. They've been more aggressive. To your point, Tamika, they've gotten it done on the glass after getting beat up on the glass a little bit. And this is a defense-first team for Georgia. We've seen that under Joni Taylor through the years. They've gotten better offensively because they've picked up the tempo. They've been better in transition starting last year and getting a lot of offense there. But when it comes down to it, this is a team that prides itself on defense, and they are making it very difficult right now on Georgia Tech as Coombs gets a block out of the timeout and then a traveling violation on the Yellow Jackets.
Georgia Tech, they got to figure out a way to get some easier baskets. They did a great job in the first half of moving the ball, attacking the basket, finding the open player, but it seems like they're doing quite a bit of one-on-one plays. So just get back into the offensive flow.
Stady. Back off for Morrison. Morrison, unselfish play, dropping it down to Stady for her first field goal.
And that's what you have got to do more of. Georgia, first half, they really focused on trying to make Jenna Stady a post-up player. When you move the ball like they have, they've hit a couple of baskets. Other people have stepped up. Now as you make those drives, Georgia Tech can't help as much, and I think that's been the success of this team.
Lottinen, good strong take to the basket for Lottinen. Held to 2 points in the first half on 1 of 6 shooting. Here's Morrison, pull up for 1,000.
And I love the way the announcer just said, Q. But she has stepped up tonight, left and right. The player that gave them the go-ahead basket to take the lead from Georgia Tech and keep knocking down shots.
Foul going to go on Kubai, I think, leaning in there as Georgia draws the third foul on Kubai.
And that's a tough call right there. Kubai, as active as she is, sometimes she's got to figure out the moment to go after the ball and when to kind of step back during the third quarter. She's got to be available for this team in the fourth quarter.
Coombs flipped it up, couldn't get it. And here comes Georgia Tech. Love had the hot hand in the first half, 11 points to lead Georgia Tech. Hasn't scored here in the second half. It's been a 13-4 scoring edge for Georgia here in this quarter. Stroutman hasn't scored for Georgia Tech. Remember, she picked up 2 fouls in the first half, was taken out of the rhythm. Turnaround, count it, and one. Boy, did Georgia Tech need that. Hermosa chance for a three-point play.
Well, let's go back to you just talking about Stroutman. And one of the things she's got to do, they got to figure out a way to get her going. But right here, Hermosa, great job just turning around and taking it over Jenna Stady. No fear in her eyes. And you've got to attack.
That's the first foul on Stady, just the second foul whistled on Georgia so far in this game. Hermosa now with 5, came in averaging a team best 11.3 points a game.
I love the way Georgia's setting up the offense, trying to make sure that they get the right look at the basket.
That look is Stady from the outside. No, Lottanen with the rebound. Again, Lottanen coming off a knee injury, suffered against Hofstra, was red hot in that game, had scored 15 points in 12 minutes. She's got a sleeve on that left knee, did not play against Purdue. She got the start here today. And Stady's going to get called for her second personal foul. That'll get us to our 5-minute media timeout. It comes with 4:47 to go in the third quarter. Jenna Stady will keep protesting, but it's 2 fouls on her. Georgia's up 8.
Cancer can take away all my physical abilities. It cannot touch my mind, it cannot touch my heart, and it cannot touch my soul. And those 3 things are going to carry on forever.
It is V Week at ESPN and our partnership with the V Foundation highlighting the urgent need for cancer research and the elimination of racial disparities in cancer outcomes. For more information, visit ESPN.com/VWeek. You can see how you can help and get involved. Well, flip that around. It's Georgia outscoring Georgia Tech 13-7 here in the third quarter. I believe our graphics operator is a Georgia Tech alum who's a little unhappy with how things are going right now, just trying to change the narrative a little bit. But it's all Georgia right now here in the third quarter, Tamika Catchings. So why is it all Georgia? What's been different? It does feel, when you compare the third quarter, especially to the start of the game in the first quarter, it looks like a different intensity and energy level for Georgia on both ends of the court.
Well, it's the halftime huddle and it's the halftime locker room pep talk, I can only imagine. But, you know, Joni Taylor going into the huddle and just saying what they need. I think they focused early on in the game too much trying to force the ball down low. Second half, they've really come out. They've moved better. The offensive flow, it hasn't stuck anybody's hand. They passed the ball, they found the open players, and they've made it easier to get shots for themselves.
Out of the timeout, Georgia Tech looking for a 3. Off the miss, looking to get a putback, but Stroutman can't find it. She's 0 for 3 from the field. And here comes Morrison. Barker, transition 3 is good.
And those are the looks that you want to get. You're pushing the ball in transition. Q Morrison, everybody has to respect the way she played tonight. Sarah Ashley Barker getting those wide open looks, getting the ball in.
Bates knocked it away, but into the hands of Lottanen. And a good fight by Love, and she'll head to the free throw line to shoot a couple. Love's been good. She had 11 points in the first half. Really helped Georgia Tech get going. had 3 offensive rebounds in the first half and crashing the boards here in the second half, trying to keep the Yellow Jackets close on the road.
And that's something she did in the game against Purdue. Attacking the basket and getting easier baskets for the team.
Alliance Carter comes into the game for Georgia Tech. Foul on Nicholson, her second personal. And Love at the free throw line, 58% on the season. She leads the team in free throw attempts on the season. That free throw shooting number is going to need to come up for Georgia Tech. Coming up at 4 Eastern, 3 Central, our day of women's basketball rivalry games continues in College Station. Number 17 Texas A&M taking on their rivals, 15th ranked Texas. Great game last season. Last matchup, unless there's one in the NCAA tournament, between Vic Schaefer and Gary Blair. You'll see that at 4 Eastern time.
And that'll be a game I'm tuned into.
Well, they moved the three-point line back for the women as Bates can't hit, and it's pulled down by Georgia Tech. But the Aggies shooting from outside the three-point line has gone up this season. They're shooting 45% from 3 to lead the nation. We'll see that coming up at 4 Eastern time. Love couldn't finish, and a rebound for Nicholson.
That's interesting. Georgia Tech has actually gotten a few good looks at the basket, not able to finish. And I don't know if
Blocking
that's
foul called on Georgia Tech.
I don't know if that's a case of what we talked about earlier, but Georgia wearing down their opponent. And as you get tired, some of those easier looks that you get, it's harder to make them because you are so tired.
Well, we talked about the bench, and the bench made a difference in the first half for Georgia because they needed a spark. It's not that wearing down piece. It was the wake up your teammates piece, and the bench outscored the starters in the first half for Georgia, 13-12. That bought some time for that starting 5 maybe to wake up and bring a little bit more of that energy as you've talked about in the second half. That's Carter on the pull-up for her first 2.
Yeah, that's a good look for Carter.
Knocked away, last touch by Georgia Tech, 2:58 to go, third quarter. Sophomore from Norcross, Georgia.
Yeah, Carter just rising up over Kuhn.
Averaging a little bit more than 3 points a game. The lob for Barker just wouldn't drop down, and here's Lottinen with Georgia Tech on a little bit of a push here. That Bates 3 really would have helped. Love couldn't keep it alive, and now here comes Georgia.
Georgia taking advantage of every single opportunity, whether it's a make or miss. They push the ball up the floor, and that is something that has allowed them to have the energy that they have. So Ashley Barker for another attempt. And not able
Mark
to
and another rebound for Love. That's her 6th rebound of the game. Lottinen fed inside to Hermosa. Shots are not dropping for Georgia Tech or for Georgia on this trip.
A couple layups missed on both ends.
Yellow Jackets 4 of 13 from the field here in this half. They'll have a chance at the free throw line to cut into the deficit with 1:55 to go in the third.
Well, I think that's a smart play. Slow the offense down, get the ball down low, space the floor. Hermosa's done a great job this season in her post-up game. So force the one-on-one matchup, and she's able to get to the free throw line.
Richardson and Hollingshed into the game for the Lady Dogs. Nicholson and Barker will head to the bench. There is Hermosa to shoot 2. Third season in the starting lineup for the junior from Vitoria, Spain. After not attempting a free throw in the first half, Georgia Tech is now 3 for 5 from the line in the second half. Hollingshed.
And here's the zone. Georgia Tech playing a little bit of zone action, 2-3. That is something that Georgia has struggled with in the last couple of games, is going against that zone. So it's something they've been practicing the last couple of days.
Batted out of bounds by the Yellow Jackets. 9 to shoot for Georgia. Into Bates, who gets tied up by Carter. Possession arrow, Georgia Tech.
Good heads up play right there by Carter, getting her hand on the ball to force that jump ball. I think any possession that you can get, and you think about Georgia Tech, they need to get more possession. Kubai back in. Good block right there by Bates.
Rejected by Bates. Kubai tried to reverse it up, and it's pulled down by Hollingshed. Chapman for Morrison. Followed up by Bates.
That's the energy that Q Morrison brings. Getting the ball up the floor, tried to get the layup, but Mallory Bates able to get the ball in.
Bates now with 6 points on 3 of 4 shooting, and now another foul called on Georgia.
Oh yeah, Kubai down low. Mallory Bates, such a great job getting the ball out of the air without forcing the foul.
Bates 6 points, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks in her 11 minutes.
Pretty productive.
Off the bench again. Those 3 words that we've used a few times today. Off the bench, that's been the difference here for Georgia as Kubai comes up empty on the first. Batted out of bounds by Georgia, so after missing a couple of free throws, Georgia Tech will keep possession.
Yeah, that was one of the things that they really struggled with, Georgia Tech, in the Purdue game. I mean, they're right now 3 for 7, shooting 43% from the free throw line.
Lottinen had it batted away. It looked like it was going to be a Georgia Tech turnover. Instead, it's an and one chance for Lodomai Lottinen.
No, heads up plays, Lottinen come in, able to get that, and Hollingshed with the foul, but gotta love that. Maybe that's something that Georgia Tech can use to give them a little bit more energy.
Hollingshed picks up her first personal. There is a made free throw for Georgia Tech. Now down by 6, final minute. Third quarter. Well, Richardson is not shy. Takes a quick shot that trip for Georgia and misses everything, so the door is ajar here for Georgia Tech to try to close the gap a little bit more. Knocked away by Richardson, 11 to shoot.
Yeah, Richardson, that shot definitely going to be a learning moment. But you can always get it back on the defensive end.
Kubai. And a blocking foul is called on Georgia's Richardson. Took a pretty good hit there, and make sure she's okay. That head hit the floor here. A little bit. You saw her grab for it right away.
You look at Carter trying to take the drive to the basket. Richardson still feeling it. Carter does a really good job of using her body. And she's able to kind of force her way in to get to the free throw line.
Carter settles for 1 of 2. Georgia has gone cold here at the end of the third quarter. They are 1 for their last 7 as Chapman has it batted away. 6.2 to go in the third.
Will maintain possession of the basketball.
It's the first time we've seen Georgia Tech pull out the zone, and it definitely has had an effect on this Georgia offense.
Richardson missed the mark, and that will do it. So it was a good start to the third quarter for Georgia. A 9-0 run to start quarter number 3, but Georgia Tech fighting back a little bit at the end of the quarter. They've made it a 5-point game as we head to the fourth in Athens. Well, also, too, with the transfer portal, with new faces in new places, some have come in. We've seen that with Duke and made instant impact on that team and the roster, and then players have gone other places and you're still waiting for that impact. So that's something that you have to kind of let play out a little bit as well. Georgia Tech gets a stop to start the fourth quarter off the miss. It's a Kubai rebound. And let's see what the Yellow Jackets can do. Bologna. Georgia Tech went on an 8-2 run to end that third quarter, bring it down to a 5-point game. Kubai's in trouble, but she has a way of getting out of trouble. When you're a member of the 1,000 club, points and rebounds, the second all-time as she joined that club today, you figure out a way to score. 9 points, 11 boards now for Kubai. Stady can't get it to drop. And then as Georgia Tech was trying to control the basketball, maybe that was that international experience too. They did a little soccer play with the feet, which you can't do. So it's going to be Georgia basketball. Now they find Stady on the other side for 2.
Have to go look, trying to find a way to get Stady engaged in the game. Last 10 minutes of the game, they need her to step up, and she's been really quiet this game. Q Morrison has done her job as far as leading this team and continuing to make baskets when they need it. But Jenna Stady is needed the last 10 minutes of this game.
Q Morrison is just all over Lottinen right now, trying to deny the playmaker from Georgia Tech a chance to get the ball in their hands. And off the turnover, Morrison for Chapman. It's Stady who has that range, but not this time. Coombs reached over to keep it alive. And a hustle play. That's Jenna Stady, the biggest player on the roster, who goes diving to the bench, and she is not up yet. Remember, Stady earlier in her Georgia career really battled back problems. They've done a great job with her. We talked with Joni Taylor about that yesterday, about managing Jenna Stady's practice minutes, what she does in a game. She has been very good, Jenna Stady has, at the end of the last 2 seasons. She has looked her best at the end of the last 2 seasons.
Well, I think
trying
it really
to manage that is going to be important here for this Georgia team.
Exactly, and Love able to knock down the basket, but thinking about Jenna Stady, a lot of it is you have 4 other post players that can come in this game and produce, and I think that really, really helps in being able to manage Jenna Stady in practice and in game.
Love got the hoop, then got the rebound. It's back to a 3-point deficit. Hermosa turns around, making a 1-point game. 8 points for Hermosa, all in the second half.
I think they've changed for the Georgia team ever since Georgia Tech went to the zone offense. It's been a different team and definitely not as active.
Carter trying to hold on to the rebound, had a shoe on the baseline, so it'll be Georgia basketball. So Sarah Ashley Barker is coming back into the game for Georgia. She's been battling an illness, as we mentioned before. She left practice yesterday, wasn't feeling great. She's left the bench here today after heading out of the game. She doesn't look like someone who's feeling great right now. We've all had that feeling right there that Sarah Ashley Barker showing us. The difference is, well, not for you, but for me, Tamika, I'd be lying on the couch under 6 blankets right now. You and Sarah Ashley would keep playing, and she's playing.
Definitely, and so we've known and we have heard of some of the greatest performances happening while players have been sick. So we'll see what Sarah Ashley Barker can continue.
Stady has it rejected by Hermosa. Georgia Tech with a chance to go back in front. Last time they led was in the second quarter when they led 23-21. Remember, it was a 7-0 run to close that second quarter for Georgia. They stretched the lead to 11 in the second half. Kubai ran out of room, couldn't get it to go.
Kubai on that shot. You got to go to the basket. You're trying to do a fadeaway jump shot over Isaacs and then forced her to make a play.
Isaacs. Stady got inside, was knocked down. They play on. Second chance here for Georgia. Coombs takes it at Carter. Tough finish by Michaela Coombs.
Great play by Coombs. Heads up, sees a wide open lane. And not just that, when you're going against Carter, Carter goes straight up, but Coombs does a great job of getting into her body so she couldn't block the shot.
Lahtinen now defended by Barker. Love draws Morrison. Love took a tough shot. Morrison has that way to make you take a tough shot. Co-Defensive Player of the Year in the SEC a year ago.
Just such an active defender, hands always moving, able to get her hands on the ball and knock it out of your hands.
Morrison to Isaacs. Kubai with the rebound. Lahtinen wants Love out of the way. Wants to work with Kubai. Back inside, Hermosa against Stady. No. And a foul called on Stady. That will be her third.
And Jenna Stady playing behind Hermosa. Got to use her body to push her out a little bit more. She's getting space right where she wants to. Yeah, you see that turnaround. She gets her on the back of her hand.
Stady with 3 for Georgia. Kubai with 3 for Georgia Tech. Hermosa at the free throw line. Coming up at 6 Eastern, 5 Central, we'll have our annual SEC Now Bowl special, an in-depth look at the SEC teams playing in a bowl game, plus a preview of the college football playoff semifinals, breakdowns, analysis, and more from the SEC Now team. You can also see it on the ESPN app. That will be after Texas A&M at Reed Arena at 4 Eastern time. Coombs spinning, but not scoring. Straumanet has not scored here today. Back into the game with Love now. Love leading the way with 13.
Straumanet.
Kubai, 7 on the shot clock. Kubai looking for help. Love with 3, with 2, and a traveling violation called on Love. And Georgia Tech turns it over for the 15th time today. That will get us to a timeout. It comes with 4:18 to go in the fourth quarter. It's a 1-point game in Athens. Georgia Tech, their strength is defense, and they have dialed it up here in the second half to make it a 1-point game. The story of the score, Georgia is 1 for their last 9 from the field. Now, Georgia Tech has struggled on the offensive end, so it's kind of grit and guile right now, and who's going to have more of it going down the stretch between these two rivals. And Georgia has done a very good job, Tamika Catchings, of taking better care of the basketball. Remember, turnovers were a big problem in the first quarter, but right now, the Bulldogs with just 11 turnovers for this game. Remember, at halftime, they had 9.
Well, I think the biggest thing is defense is the staple for both teams. And so when you look at just how they've been able to defend each other, Georgia doing a great job keeping Georgia Tech from scoring. Georgia Tech, same thing against the Georgia Bulldog team. So last 4 minutes of the game, it's going to be really who wants it more, where does that grit come from. And at this point, big-time players step up and make big-time plays. So Q Morrison stepping up, really opening up the floor. Got Sarah Ashley Barker on the floor, knocking down 3. Kubai from the Georgia Tech side, really doing her job and making sure to keep this Georgia Tech team together.
Stady and Kubai, the only players with more than 2 fouls. Hugh Morrison's been excellent, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 turnover. And she has joined the 1,000-point club at Georgia. Can't add to it here, though, as Love gets the block. Well, those two have had a pretty good matchup because Morrison's been guarding Love. So that's one to watch, and they're matched up right now.
They both play a lot, very similar to each other. And Bates
on the
get called
reach,
for
a
the
foul is
foul.
called on Bates.
That's her third.
That's 3 on Mallory Bates. Two team fouls on Georgia here in this 4th quarter. Sarah Bates makes a little move. Good shooter, knocks it down for 3, and Georgia Tech's back in front.
And Bates, what she does so well, you said earlier, she's been struggling from shooting the 3. Last game really struggled against Purdue, but today, being in her natural position, really giving her an opportunity to step up and knock down those 3s.
She's 2 for 4 today. She was at 21% on the season coming in. Nicholson couldn't control the rebound. It'll be Georgia Tech basketball with 3:22 to go.
Interesting lineup too. Stady's on the bench, but here you see another look at Bates. A great Mallory Bates going against Sarah Bates, but a great little look. You saw the bench's reaction.
Love and Morrison continue their head-to-head battle. Kubai, defended by Mallory Bates. Kubai ducks in for 2.
What a move by Kubai. Up and then under again. Get Nicholson up in the air and able to score.
That was an up, under move. She just kept finding new ways to find an opening, and she did. 11 points, 14 rebounds, 3 assists for Lorella Kubai, and it's a 4-point lead for Georgia Tech. 7-0 run for the Yellow Jackets ends with Mallory Bates on the inside. She's got 8.
Yeah, good. Staying active, moving around.
And a timeout called by Georgia Tech with 2:19 to go here in the 4th quarter. Georgia came out flying in the 3rd quarter. They had that run at the end of the 2nd quarter, a great start to the 3rd quarter, a 9-0 run. It looks like they were going to run away from Georgia Tech, but the Yellow Jackets hanging in there and up, under, and in for 2.
Well, I mean, this is a great testament to this team and just how they have continued to stick together. I want to go back to the Purdue game and just looking at the last couple of minutes that they had, being in almost the same similar situation, could knock down a couple free throws, but the thing that got them there was the way that they played together. I think really having Lottman back in the lineup, it's been a plus for this Georgia Tech team today.
Good point, Tamika, because you were at that Purdue game in person. You were watching, and they were down 8 in the 4th quarter, but ended up losing a heartbreaker at the buzzer. Love, illegal screen set by Hermosa, so says the official. Hugh Morrison takes the contact, and it'll be Georgia basketball.
Well, you know, I think one of the biggest things, Hermosa just had to hold her ground for just a second longer. She's trying to set the screen and then release at the same time. You got to stay steady. You got to keep your feet on the ground, set the screen, let her come off, and then you can roll.
Morrison blocked by Hermosa, so she comes back on the defensive end and gets the block. Inside of 2 minutes to go now in the 4th. Love and Bates together on the floor right now for Georgia Tech. Kubai for 3. Sarah Ashley Barker comes away for Georgia. Barker blocked by Kubai. Smart play by Love with Morrison back. She'll slow it down with 1:20 to go.
And get the ball down low to Kubai.
Stady back in there. Good feed for Hermosa, who puts it in for 2. The bigs working well together for Georgia Tech to put the Yellow Jackets on top by 4 with 1:10 to go.
And gotta love it when the posts play together. Here it is right there. Kubai to Hermosa. We've been watching that all day long. The two of them, the high-low, finding each other. I mean, they've just done a great job of working together, moving. Whenever one gets it down low, you always see the other one working and crashing the board. So, very productive play.
Hermosa with 12 points all in the second half. She has 8 rebounds. Kubai, 11 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists for Georgia Tech. Kubai also with a couple of blocks in her 35 minutes of play.
She has had 35 rebounds in 2 games thus far. We're not even finished with this game.
20 against Purdue last time out, tied her career high. She had success last year against Georgia, went for 20 points, 13 rebounds in that meeting, won by the Bulldogs in Atlanta. One minute to play. Stady will try from the outside. No. Bates with the offensive rebound. Back to Stady. Yes.
Great feed. Bates to Stady. Got Kubai running the point forward at the moment.
Lottanen back into the game, and they struggle with the handoff. Jump ball, possession arrow, Georgia Tech.
Chloe Chapman able to get her hands on that ball and almost forced the turnover. Definitely not the time in the game that you want to have a turnover with this Georgia Tech team.
Lottanen will come out of the game. Strautman will come back in. Kubai for Bates. Trying to get into the hands of Love, but Morrison won't allow it. Back to Bates. Kubai. Hermosa, 4 on the shot clock. Strautman is fouled by Chapman with 1 on the shot clock.
Strautman didn't even look like she wanted to shoot the ball, but the clock is running down. She's able to get the ball in her hand, but you see it's like she's looking up. Oh, Chloe Chapman swings down. The foul.
So free throws for Strautman. Free throws have been an issue for Georgia Tech, and Joni Taylor will take a timeout. Georgia Tech is now 7 of 13 from the free throw line. She'll take the timeout after the make or the miss here to advance it to the front court. 0 for 2. And Georgia takes the timeout with the shot clock off. So for the second game in a row, Tamika, Georgia Tech with an opportunity at the free throw line to get some much needed breathing room. They went 0 for 4 from the line in the final minute in the loss at Purdue. They come up empty on those 2 free throws right there. And now it's Georgia basketball, shot clock off, down by 2.
They have shot 50% for the game from the free throw line. You can't talk about how imperative it is to be able to knock down those shots when they count. You see Georgia Tech, they've done a great job getting themselves back in the game, but now you get yourself an opportunity to get to the free throw line. They've made great offensive plays. They've made great defensive plays. You see the block, you see the shot, you see how well they have done playing together. Kubai, here it is to Hermosa. I mean, they have continued to score left and right to put themselves in this situation. Same situation they were just in a couple of nights ago. Up to 23 seconds left to go. Shot clock is off, so Georgia can get the last shot of the game.
Georgia Tech has outscored Georgia 15-8 here in this fourth quarter. They were down by 11 in the third, but the Yellow Jackets have come back, as Tamika just took you through it all, on both ends of the floor. Some key offensive plays, some key defensive plays. Georgia 2 for their last 9 from the field. Hermosa in the fourth quarter, part of a big second half, 12 second half points to help Georgia Tech back into this game.
And the thing about it, 20 seconds left, you don't have to take a 3. You can get a 2.
Morrison back to Chapman. She'll try the 2. Off the mark. Strautmane with the rebound and a quick timeout called by Love. So Georgia goes with the jump shot attempt from Chapman. That misses, and Georgia Tech with the basketball with 12.1 to go.
Yeah, that's an interesting play right there by Chloe Chapman. You know she can knock down that shot. Q Morrison tried to get the drive and the pass back. It's interesting when you think about how well they did coming into the second half of the game when they spaced the floor, drove, and created opportunities for each other. The energy was high, the ball was moving and not sticking. And you know, Georgia kind of went away from that, but a big part of that is Georgia Tech going to that 2-3 defense.
So you see Lottinen is back into the game for Georgia Tech. Strautmane, who has not scored today, comes up with the key rebound off the Chapman miss. Her 5th rebound. Georgia Tech is a +8 in rebounding margin against a Georgia team that has averaged a +10 in rebounding margin this year. So they've won the battle of the boards. Can they win the battle on the scoreboard? It's Georgia Tech basketball. Georgia Tech lead with 12.1 to go. Georgia has committed 3 fouls. So Georgia Tech not to the free throw line just yet on this next foul.
Well, your mindset is steal, foul. The first thing Georgia's going for is a steal, and if not that, then no comment, no foul.
Well, they'll give the foul here, down to 10.8 to go on the game clock again. That's number 4. Teams are moving to the free throw line, but it should be side out of bounds. It is. Teams are so used to it, you know, final seconds, we're going to the free throw line, right? No, not necessarily. So now Hollingshed will come back into the game. Stady picked up her 4th personal, so Stady goes to the bench now with the 4. With Georgia needing to foul one more time. Hollingshed will give it, and it's Hermosa who's fouled. She'll go to the line to shoot 2, but she has played with a ton of confidence here in this second half. She's 4 of 5 from the free throw line.
Checking in for the Dogs, Jenna Stady.
And 13 of 17 from the line this season. Stady will come back in. Again, Georgia Tech with an opportunity at the free throw line. In the final seconds. You see the reaction. Lottinen and Love, they know they were through this against Purdue the other day where they were watching and the free throws bounced out. Love was one who missed a couple of free throws. Now a chance here for Hermosa. Puts Georgia Tech on top by 2 possessions. Clutch moment for Georgia Tech and Nerea Hermosa.
Well, one of the things Coach Gordon has said, I don't want to put so much emphasis on the free throw that our players start thinking about it. And thus far, up into these last 2 free throws, that has been an emphasis as you get down the stretch. And you need every single free throw, every single point. But Hermosa, you said it, the confidence she's playing with in this game thus far really allowed her to make those, knock down those 2 free throws that give it a 2-possession game.
All right, Tamika, let's talk strategy here because you can see Georgia Tech has committed just 1 foul here. It's a 4-point game. How aggressive does Georgia Tech get defensively here against Georgia, knowing you're not going to send them to the free throw line? You can't lose the game on a 3-pointer here. How does Nell Fortner's team play it defensively?
I think it's the same mindset. You want to steal, but you play it safe. Sarah Ashley Barker for the 3.
Barker drains the 3 with 4.5 to go. Georgia Tech with 1 timeout left. They will take it here.
Well, that was probably not the expectation of allowing Georgia to make a 3, but Sarah Ashley Barker, great job of using the screen and getting open. I mean, all of the offense, Love. Stady sets a great screen, and all you need is a little bit of space to see the basket. And Barker. Love doesn't even look ready yet.
So Barker knocks down the 3, her third of the game. That makes it a 1-point game. Georgia Tech is out of timeouts here. Georgia with 1 timeout remaining.
Well, I think the same thing. You're looking at a steal foul. I mean, even though you only have 4.5 seconds, you cannot allow a lot of time to go off the clock.
Well, they got to get it in here without timeouts remaining. That's going to be a challenge. They get it to Hermosa, and there is the foul with 3.4 to go. So Hermosa's going to have to try to deliver at the free throw line again. But after the Sarah Ashley Barker 3, even if she makes these 2 free throws, there is an opportunity for Georgia with 1 timeout remaining. Call a timeout, advance to the front court, and try to push this game to overtime. Or perhaps win it in regulation. The rebound is pulled down, and the timeout is called by Taylor. So a couple of misses at the free throw line, and Georgia will advance it to the front court, and they will have a chance to win it at home.
Well, I think one of the things, you got 2 seconds left, 2.9 seconds left on the clock, which is plenty of time to get a shot off. I don't know if you look for a Jenna Stady, get a sudden up screen and send it to the basket, you get somebody right around the free throw line. Q Morrison has played, she's played great this game. She's knocked down shots pretty much all over the floor. That's the person that you get the ball to. I mean, they had a couple of options. It'll be interesting to see who they end up getting the ball, whose hands they end up getting the ball in.
Georgia Tech 2 for 6 from the free throw line in the past 21 seconds. That has opened the door here. The Barker 3 has put Georgia in position here. Down by 1, 2.9 to go. It's Morrison. Morrison on the dribble. Morrison at the buzzer. Georgia Tech hangs on and wins in Athens.
What a play, Kubai, not getting the foul at the end, but Q Morrison trying to get the ball to the basket. That's a great shot. She's had that look all night. Just not able to knock it down the stretch. Georgia Tech coming from behind and able to pull out that win.